Hello everyone, it's Mari Clark here. I'm so excited today to be participating in a Canadian Christmas video hop sponsored by Scrap and Stamp. First of all, I'm going to do an unboxing of the different products that Scrap and Stamp sent me as part of this hop. I'm going to be using other products from my stash as well today that Scrap and Stamp does also have in their store. And I'll give a list in the description box below of all of the products I'm using for my projects today, and a link to Scrap and Stamp in the description box as well. So I love the packaging. This is just such beautiful tissue paper that's part of the packaging inside of the box. And now I'm just going to show you all of the yummy goodies that I received. Now this is some Glimmer foil from Spellbinders. This is a variety pack that includes fuchsia flower, moon dust, speckled aura, prism. And I'm going to show you all of the different colors that are part of this pack. Look at that fuchsia. So pretty. I absolutely love these colors. And I'm going to use that gold today on my project with a hot foil plate from Spellbinders to show you how that foil works. These are the other products that I also received in the box. A bunch of dies and stamps. This is a really fun die set. This is the Holiday Blooms die set from Spellbinders, and I'm going to be using a bunch of Spellbinders today. But look at all of these dies that you get. So many dies for florals and foliage, for really any type of project. It wouldn't have to be Christmas, but you could definitely use this for part of your winter or holiday projects for sure. This set here is so adorable. It's called Sugar Plum Tweets. You can see these sweet little birds, but there's some other dies in here as well as a sentiment die, a couple of sentiment dies, and a little flourish. This set here is called Many Merry Christmas Sentiments, and you can see all of the stamps that are part of this, and there's even a coordinating die for the Merry Christmas sentiment there at the bottom. So love that. Tons of sentiments in that set, so really super great. And yes, once again, that's called Many Merry Christmas Sentiments, so that is awesome. And I'm also going to be using this little set here. This is called Tweet Cardinal. Super adorable. I love that. It's going to die cut out this sweet little cardinal bird that you can see there. Then I also received a bunch of, or some adhesive. This is adhesive squares by 3L. And then I also received a bunch of cardstock, which I absolutely love. One of the packs, this pink here, I received is from Hero Arts. This is the Peony. Beautiful cardstock. It's 100-pound. It die cuts beautifully. It is so nice. Then I also received a bunch of Spellbinders cardstock. If you have not used their cardstock before, I highly recommend it. This one is called Glacier. It's just a really pretty pale blue. This one here is called Phone Booth. It's a beautiful, rich red, perfect for holiday projects. This one is Teal Topaz. Stunning color. I love that. And then lastly is Rainforest. It's just a really beautiful bright green. So I'm going to be using, I think, all of them maybe except the pink, if I remember correctly. Beautiful papers though, and I really enjoy die cutting with that paper. Now this is a hot foil plate. Now this Glimmer hot foil plate is called Plaid Tidings Background, and it is a Spellbinders hot foil plate. I've used that gold foil from that variety pack to hot foil onto some white cardstock, and I'm going to use that for my card front. Now I'm also going to do some die cutting using a die set from my stash. This die set's called Holiday Cheer Special Pet Delivery. It is in the Scrap and Stamp store. And this die set is quite large, but it does include these two oval dies, a scallop die, and then one that layers over top of it. I'm going to get that hot foil piece, this plaid piece down and centered on my A2 size card base. This is a top folding A2 size card base here, and I want to put this card front here just nicely centered, leaving a nice white margin around the edges. And then here's that little scallop die set. And again, I will make sure to link up all of these different products in the description box below. So this is card number 1, and I'll have all of the different products for card number 1 listed. And so you can see I cut that smaller oval out of white cardstock, and I'm layering it over top of the red layer with some foam adhesive. And these gorgeous blooms were die cut from using these two little poinsettia dies, and of course the little centers as well. And that is from the Holiday Blooms die set. I've die cut those poinsettias from the Glacier cardstock from Spellbinders, and then I used a little bit of Gina K gold metallic cardstock for the centers. And now I'm going to start to put together my sweet little bird. This is from the Tweet Cardinal set, and I did die cut the red pieces from the phone booth cardstock from Spellbinders. And here you can just see that I'm going to assemble this little sweet little cardinal. It's just the most adorable little bird, and it's really easy to assemble. You can see on the packaging how to put this little bird together. So super easy to do. I do want to just remind you to make sure that you check out the information in the description box below, not just for the products that I'm using, but also information about the YouTube hop today. There will be 3 $100 gift cards given away by Scrap and Stamp. So make sure that you comment on all of the different videos in the hop. I will list the videos as well in the description box also. So make sure that you hop along and you comment on all of the different videos. The videos will be open for comment from December 3rd at 9 a.m. Eastern Time 2022 to December 10th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time 2022. So make sure that you get your comment or comments, plural, on all of the different videos so that you can be entered to win one of 3 $100 gift cards from Scrap and Stamp. How fun would that be? That would be a wonderful Christmas gift. So you can see that I've got all of the little bits starting to come together for this sweet little Tweet Cardinal. And I'm just using, I'm using my tweezers and I'm using my Marvy jewel picker here and there, my different tools that I have to help me assemble these different little pieces. And I know that some of these little pieces are tiny and intricate, but I love working with die cuts like this. It's so fun to build cards. They can be really dimensional, and of course with all of your different color cardstocks, really, really super fun. And if you don't have the color cardstocks, you can even use white cardstock and ink up the different white cardstocks to the color that you want, and then go ahead and use those as your colored pieces. But I do really recommend the cardstock that I'm using here. The Spellbinders cardstock is amazing. I love it. I know Scrap and Stamp carries a number of different brands. They also carry Gina K, which is also amazing cardstock. But if you go into their menu on the left side of their webpage, you can go into a category and then it'll give you all of the different brands. So if you go into paper, a little drop-down menu will show up to the right, and it will show you all of the different brands, and you can click that brand and you can see all of the different, for example, paper that they have for those different brands. So pretty easy to use their website too. It's actually really super easy to order from their site, and they do have really excellent shipping. So make sure you check it out. I am just going to put the sweet little beak on this little bird. I die cut that from some orange, and that is some Gina K cardstock that I used there for that beak. And just going to get that in place. And I just really love my reverse tweezers when I'm working on a project like this. They work really well for all of these different little pieces. I am using Barely Arts liquid glue here for my project today. And here you can just see I've die cut the holly from the Rainforest paper from Spellbinders. And again, that is the Holiday Blooms die set that I used for that as well. So that Holiday Blooms set is amazing. I love it. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of anti-static powder to my red cardstock here, and I'm going to stamp out one of the sentiments from the Many Merry Christmas sentiment set. And I'm going to stamp this out with some clear embossing ink, and then I'll go over top of this with some white embossing powder. I'll just give that a little bit of a tap to get the excess powder off of there, and I'll funnel that back into the container. And now I'll just take my heat tool and melt that embossing powder that's stuck to that clear ink. And that's going to give me a really nice white crisp sentiment for the front of my card. I just took this to my trimmer and trimmed this out to be a little strip for my sentiment. And now you can see how I'm going to be assembling the card with that oval piece kind of in the center and then the little sentiment strip at the bottom. I'm going to use a strip of foam adhesive for that sentiment strip. I'll just center it near the bottom of the card, and you'll just see me here using the grid lines on my craft mat to help me line up that sentiment strip so that it's nice and straight. Now I'll just add a little bit of foam adhesive, liquid adhesive on the back of this cardstock here. I'll use my tweezers again just to help me center that, and that's going to finish the front of the card. Now I did also want to use another die set here. I'm going to show you for the inside of my project, and so I did use the Mix and Match Holiday Greetings die set. This has so many different dies in it. I absolutely love this set. And I just used the Merry Christmas dies from that set and the phone booth cardstock. Now this is one of the dies from my stash that I'm going to be using. It's called Circle Kaleidoscope Slimline from Spellbinders. This is a really cool die set, and it can be used in so many different ways. I'm also going to be using, again, this Sugar Plum Tweets. I haven't used it yet, but you saw it in the unboxing of the box of goodies from Scrap and Stamp. I've die cut all of the different little pieces for these sweet little birds, and I did use the Glacier and the Teal Topaz cardstock from Spellbinders to die cut out all of these different little pieces for the birds. And it is super easy to assemble these once you have all of these little bits die cut out, and you can just go ahead with your liquid adhesive and adhere all the different little pieces into the right little area. What I do notice too with these Spellbinders dies is they do kind of leave a little bit of an embossed impression so that you can see, for example, where to put the little eye or the different little feathers, different feather pieces and so on. So that does make it a little bit easier as well. And the other bird that is part of this set here has a little heart on its cheek, and there's actually a little indentation, a shape that's embossed into the cardstock when you die cut out the different little pieces. That shows you where to, it indicates where to put that little heart, for example, and so on. So that does make it quite a bit easier when you're assembling these. And I just love how that Glacier color looks so pretty with the Teal Topaz. I think this is a really pretty color combo. And what I did with that Circle Kaleidoscope Slimline die set is I just cut out the circles for some little texture on my card today. And so you can see those circles that are die cut there and just waiting over to the left. Now I did want to use some of these little holly pieces as well. And so I die cut those from the Rainforest paper, and then I die cut some little berries from Phone Booth in red. And you can see that I'm just adding those to the top of the little bird's hat, which is super cute. And I think it's just kind of really festive. And this, of course, is that Teal Topaz again. I've used that for my other bird. Now for the second bird, the main color is going to be the teal and with the Glacier accent, so that in essence, both of the birds are going to be the same color combos. It's just the little bird that I've already finished. The main color is going to be the Glacier, and then the second bird, the main color is going to be the Teal Topaz. So now you can just see that I'm using my Marvy Jewel Picker to help me pick up some of these different little pieces that are pretty tiny, like the little heart that I just added to the cheek of the little bird, and the little eye is really super tiny. I've die cut that from some black cardstock, and I'll just get that in place there as well. And I did just use the little die cut piece out of black for the beak as well. And I'm also going to add some little holly to the feathers of this bird also. So you can see there's quite a few feather pieces for this guy. But once again, they do fit together super easily. You'll just see me adding the different little pieces on here. And there's some fun little accent pieces for the lower areas of these feathers as well. So I'll just take my liquid adhesive. I really love the Barely Arts glue for this type of a project. It does adhere really quickly, so the pieces adhere together really fast. Just can give your piece a little bit of pressure, and the papers just really adhere quite quickly. So I do really like that. I also love that the Barely Arts has that really nice fine tip, which makes it really super easy to apply. And you don't need very much of this adhesive, just a tiny little dab will do it. And there you can just see I'm applying that pressure to where I've put that adhesive, and it's just going to allow that to really grip the two pieces of paper together. So here you can just see I'm going to add that little holly embellishment. I love all of these little die cuts though. Once again, I will say, I know that these little pieces are tiny, but they're totally worth it, because when you get all of these little different bits added onto your card, it just looks so adorable. It's totally worth it. I love all of these little details. I think that they're just so sweet. And I love that color combo of the green and the red, the teal and the Glacier. I think this is just a really pretty color combo. It maybe isn't your necessarily traditional Christmas colors, but it definitely looks really festive when it's all put together. There's just one last little tail feather piece there, and this sweet little birdie will be finished and ready to go on to my project. So just give that a little bit of pressure as well to finish up that area of this adorable little bird. So these two little sweet birdies are finished. I'm just going to give you a close-up look. You could add some stickles to these if you wanted to add a little bit of sparkle and shine. You could cut some of these bits out with some metallic cardstock if you wanted. Really, the sky's the limit to make this unique and different each time you use these different dies. Now these, of course, like I said earlier, are from the Circle Kaleidoscope Slimline set, and you can just see how really beautiful this is going to be to add some texture to the back of our card, to the base of our card. So this is actually going to be the card front. I have this trimmed down to smaller than my A2 size card base. And I'm going to just go ahead and add these different circular pieces on here to create that texture. Once I have these all adhered, you'll see me just picking up the paper, and I'm going to trim off the parts of the circle that are overlapping over the edge. And in that way, it's just going to create this really cool textural background. And you'll just see me here trimming these off. And what I did want to also do is use the little bits that are trimmed off to fill in any extra space on the edges where I still wanted to fill in that white area. So I'm just using my Holtz Scissors. This is another really fantastic tool. I love these scissors because the blades are really, really super long, which makes it really easy for trimming off an area like that where it's a little bit longer and you want to go in a straight line with your scissors. So here you can just see the pieces that I've trimmed off. I'm just going to go back in and fill in some of those other areas that still are just kind of like blank with nothing in them. And I love how that's going to look when it's all finished up. So I'll just go ahead and use that adhesive again, that Barely Arts glue, and my tweezers to get this into place. And wherever I can here, again, I'm just going to go and trim off with those Tim Holtz long bladed scissors to trim off that extra area. And that's going to finish that up. And that's my card front. Now I did want to also have a mat for this from that Teal Topaz cardstock. So I've trimmed that out slightly larger than my card front so that I'm going to have that really pretty teal mat. These colors, like the white and the teal, look so nice together. I love that, and I love that texture with those circles on there. I'm just going to add a little bit more of my liquid adhesive again to my top folding A2 size portrait card base. And there you can see I'm also going to have a nice white margin there. Now this is the one of the sentiment dies from the Sugar Plum Tweets set. And this is going to give me "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." So I've just trimmed out a piece of white cardstock to be the size, roughly the size of the sentiment that I want it to be. I'm going to just line those up and put those through my die cutting machine. Now I'm going to just adhere this to my Teal Topaz cardstock so that the letters are going to be that teal. And I'll just use my Tim Holtz tiny trimmer here to trim off the extra teal paper and then trim down the sentiment strip as well. I'm going to bump that up with a little bit of my foam squares. Scrap and Stamp has a full array of adhesives, so make sure you check out their adhesive tab on their website as well. So I've popped that up. I've also popped up my little birds on some foam adhesive as well. Friends, I'm just going to again reiterate, make sure you check out all of the links in the description box below, the information about the hop, the links to the other videos in the hop, the links to Scrap and Stamp to shop in the store. And I had so much fun with this, and I just want to thank Scrap and Stamp for having me as part of this hop. So much fun. I loved it, and I really hope you do too. Take care.